Kathleen and Anthony, welcome back to the Perfume Room. How are you doing?
We're here.
We're here. We're good. We're actually here this time.
You're in
We're
New
not
York.
Zooming.
I know. I started to say what I was going to say. I didn't want to interrupt, but today is your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
we're
No
celebrating.
One, no one listens to this podcast to hear me sing, and I'll keep it that way. But happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
And this is the first time that we're like anywhere other than our workshop.
Yeah, well,
basically.
no, last year we were here at the same time shooting the campaign for the New York collection, which was on my birthday as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Didn't you get hit by a car?
I did.
A
I got hit by
moped.
a moped.
Okay.
It was going the wrong way in a one-way.
I think about you sometimes because I now look both ways, even when like I know that I shouldn't have to look like the other way.
I recommend it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please, safety first, always.
Yeah.
I had to explain to her this time that she was going to be like under my supervision while we were walking. I was like, even when the walk
He
sign
stops me
comes
like
on, I want you to look both ways. You don't just go right away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's gonna,
Yeah.
you have to hold my like.
I mean,
I was
because you
so
never know when a
shook
moped's
from the
going to
last
come
time.
down the
Yeah.
wrong side of the road and
Yeah.
just.
That was the worst birthday present ever.
Well, I'm so glad you decided to come back.
Yeah.
You didn't let it deter you from returning to New York.
No, and you still went out to dinner afterwards.
Yeah, I
and,
went straight to dinner with the
and
band.
Bono was there from U2,
Yeah.
and
That's the New York.
Yeah.
Get hit by a car and then
She had
get a
band-
glass of
Pretty
wine.
legit.
she had bandages on her hands,
Yeah.
and was just like, "Let's do this."
I hope that bode well for like a reservation. Like, can you give us the best seat in the house?
No, actually, we had a
Okay.
reservation and we still waited an hour to sit down.
Well, that's even more New York.
Yeah.
Like, truly, this is all very relevant. One, because this is a full circle moment. You were the first ever guests of Perfume Room back in, was it 2021?
2021. Yeah.
Wow, was it really that long ago?
Sure.
It doesn't feel that long ago, but
I
that's
know.
I thought it was
crazy.
last year.
Crazy.
I'm not even kidding.
That was like we were like still trying out audio. I remember there was like you were on your deck and there was like a bird who landed.
Yep.
I mean, really early days.
Really early.
Of Perfume Room, sort of the beginning of, not the beginning of Thin Wild Mercury, but like earlier.
Yeah, it was like right in the midst of like the crazy excitement. I think we had just had like the craziest viral video we ever had to this date, and
Which
it
one
just
was
kind
that?
of it was the Jeffrey Bezos one.
Oh, right.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was
The
that video?
Bo Burnham song that was like
Oh,
viral at that moment
Yeah.
from Inside.
Bo Burnham's special was like the trending thing on Netflix that week or whatever. So she
Yeah,
used
I used the song and I don't know,
And you
right
went
time, right
viral.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
just about like not hiring PR. Like we had hired PR once before, but
I
yeah.
vaguely remember this.
that was
video.
the video. It went super crazy. Sold us out for like a year basically.
You never
and-
know what the thing
yeah.
is that's gonna be the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And like that was at the point that I had started working on the new collection and was like, yeah, I'm gonna like spend so much time perfuming, and I spent so much time just filling perfume bottles and Anthony shipping them.
Mm-hmm.
So it took 3 years for us to get here and talk about the new collection.
And now the new collection is a New York themed collection, and we are sitting here in New York,
Yeah.
which is crazy. But I do want to go back to what you were saying, because you are not the only like independent brand that's told me this. It's like you want success so bad, and then you get it, and all of a sudden the creative part you have to sacrifice, because all of a sudden you have to fulfill like everything that you asked for, and you can't be like creating anymore.
And
right?
it's funny because like you're very grateful for that, because
Yeah.
it's like it's not everybody gets to have that moment. Everyone who deserves it too. It's like it's hard. You can't create it. It just happens to you, and you have to be prepared for it. And luckily, we were prepared to a certain point to where we just like cut it off. But yeah, there was no creating like at all for a
And I-
good year and a half.
I think conversely, it's why we went so deep and wild into the New York collection with the references and the scents themselves for her, because we hadn't created for so long that we were like, we really need to just show that we've been doing something creatively for a long time. So let's like really get in there.
Yeah, it's a little bit esoteric. Like some of the references, like they're broad the way the LA collection was, but they're a little bit more. It's very wordy, the site, when you go through all of.
There's
the
a lot of
references for
copy,
the
yeah,
perfumes.
a lot of references.
We had a lot of time to like.
Yeah, I always
Do it.
I mean,
tell this little anecdote of like, I remember one morning we were supposed to be working and fulfilling orders, but we were like online digging up like old New York Times articles with Edie Sedgwick and trying to like match dates and things to make sure we were referencing the appropriate thing for Girl of the Year. And like, you know, like it was just a whole day went by like doing like editorial research. So that's like what goes into it.
So did this same research, before we get into the New York collection, like
Yeah.
what would you say the biggest difference was in process of, I mean, obviously I know the timing and like you already had the success of the LA collection, but the creative process you're talking about, what is different in this collection from what you did for LA?
Well, LA came to me before I ever even started perfuming. It's like the idea came before the hobby or skill or study of anything. I just was like, oh, the 4 names came to me. If you listen to the first episode, I talk about this. They just came to me.
Yes, listen to episode 1 of Perfume Room if you haven't, because we kind of are jumping into things that you might know if you heard episode 1.
Yeah, so it just kind of came to me, and then that came second. Also, I lived in LA. I drove by all these places all the time. Like, I was very like immersed in it. So it was a little bit different in the sense of like, this time I was trying, you know, like, and it felt a little bit like scary in a way to like try to do something versus something kind of just like being, I don't know, handed to you through the source of whatever it is that when an idea comes.
Right.
Working for one felt a little bit different. So the way that I approached things was very different in terms of like just the concept behind each perfume. The way that I perfumed and structured it was very, very similar. I think the ethos was a little bit different. Like I wanted to like let it fly and just be a little bit like crazy and weird because I already like proved to myself like I can make perfumes
Right.
that smell pleasant and pleasing to people. And like I guess they were, I don't know, crowd pleasers in a way. Like the people who love it really love it, and I just wanted to try something different. So the approach was very like, I don't know, it was like a little bit more like free in a way. I guess I really leaned into those like fantasy accords.
There
When you
are
read
so
through the
many
notes,
fantasy
yeah, it just like
accords.
basically is a fantasy, like
Right.
because like I had to lean in that way because I'm not here, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm an East Coaster like by birth, but like
Where did you grow up?
New Jersey.
New Jersey,
I was
okay.
born in New Jersey. I was a little bit North Carolina, New Jersey, but I've lived in California longer than anywhere else I've ever lived before. So, you know, that was like very much a part of me. So it is a little bit of like a New York fantasy from an LA person, I'd say.
Wait, am I making this up, but didn't you go to high school together?
I'm older than her.
We went to the same high school.
We went
So
to the
you
same high
did
school,
move
but-
to, are you from New Jersey too?
Yeah.
Same town.
Why did I think you were both from LA? Okay, you're both from New Jersey.
Yeah.
But on the water, right?
Yeah, I'm from.
I knew
just
there was
out-
water
Yeah,
involved
yeah.
in your
just outside
childhood.
of Atlantic City. So
Okay.
it's the South Jersey Shore. So the closest city is really Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'm like a Philly kind of rooted person. So very East Coast by nature, but very Californian at this point, and you know, vibe, I guess. But we're still very much of like hybrid. I feel like it clicks on when I come back to New York.
You're like, I'm a New Yorker now.
The sort of like swearing and the hustling.
Well,
and,
every
like,
time
just
we're
kind of,
here,
like,
Anthony spends
the
like,
attitude.
the next like 2 weeks when we get home being like, I think I want to move to New York.
Yeah.
I think we should do it.
So how do you feel this trip? Are you ready to
Yeah,
come back?
I'm like
Yeah,
every
he's
time
like,
I
I think
come
we
here,
should, I
it's,
think
it's
we
like
should.
I'm just like, we have to move here. It's insane. I
The
love it.
smell
It's
is so good. I
yeah,
need to live here.
Everything's like the energy. I just God, it's just, and then it kind of wears off, and then like I get back to my Cali life, and then every time I come here, it's like. I always say it's like taking a hit of something. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like, I feel so good right now. I just want another hit. Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm just on full of adrenaline for 2 weeks after I come back.
Yeah.